Hello and welcome to this tutorial video where I'm going to be showing you how you can use Womp to make your own cute icons to use for your apps, your folders, or widgets. Today I'm going to be focusing on how I created two of these icons, the Y2K bunny and then the cherry, and then for the rest I'll just be showing speed process builds of how I built them, so feel free to slow down the video and just follow along. So starting off with our bunny, you're going to first want to just open womp.com on your preferred browser, click on new project, it'll open a new project, and let's go ahead and just click on that default cube and delete it. So to add in a shape, click on objects, add in a cylinder, and we're just going to rotate it to its side by clicking and dragging that rotate. And to round off the sides, you're going to go to the right and just ramp up the roundness slider, and let's adjust the shape to however we like. I'm going to just add some height to it. And now it's looking like the base of a head. So moving on to the ears, we're going to drop in a curve shape, and let's delete that second point. And now go ahead and click on the curve, and you want to mirror it on the Z-axis since we want two ears. So you'll see that when we move this first point to the left like this, it's mirroring it on the other side as well. Adjust this curve point down to a size we like and move it to around the base of where you want your ears to start. So the interesting thing about curves is that it works almost like drawing with connect the dots. So when we duplicate this point by pressing Command D or Control D and move it, you'll see that now these two points are connecting with each other and drawing. And for these ears, I want the top of the ears to be a little bit larger, so I'll click on that point, scale up the size, and then have the ears kind of taper down on the bottom. Go ahead and play with your curve points and fiddle around with them until you get ears that you're satisfied with. To get your ears to mesh in together with the base of your head, you want to make sure that your cylinder is placed below your curves on the left-hand side, and then you'll see that this option for the goopiness slider will appear. And let's just ramp up the goopiness slider on the cylinder to however much you want your ears to be meshed into your cylinder head. So now moving on to our eyes, we're going to just drop in another cylinder. And let's go ahead and bring that cylinder out and mirror that also on the Z-axis. And now when we drag it to the left, you'll see that there's two of them. Let's scale down the eyes to a smaller size and bring them around to a place where we want the eyes to be. And of course we have to round it out. After that, just play around with the settings and placement of the eyes to something that you're satisfied with. So that's it basically, your model is now done. So now to add materials, you want to click on the shapes of whatever you want to apply a material onto. And go into the materials panel, and to get that Y2K look, I'm going to add a glass material, and you can play around with the sliders like metalness, roughness, to whatever you like. And if you're a pro user, you can use even fancier settings. So I'm going to drop in this textured iridescent milk glass, play around with the settings to something I like. And I'm going to do the same thing for the eyes, but change the color so now they're blue. Now to play around with the lighting, you just have to click into Environment on the right tab, and Womp has a list of a bunch of different preset lightings you can click and choose from. So feel free to play around with it and pick whatever you like. Personally, I'm going to be going with this Shadow Plats lighting. And now that that's done, click on Export, Download Image. Be sure to have these settings right, PNG, and turn off background. And click on Export. So now that that's rendering, let's move on to our cherry. So I'm gonna go back and click on New Project again. And for the base of our cherry, let's just drop in a sphere. And again, we're gonna mirror it on the Z-axis, so now when we move it, there's two of them. So these are already looking like cherries, but we wanna get the indent on the top. We're gonna duplicate that sphere by pressing Command or Control D, and let's move it up. So clicking on negative on the right bar, you'll see that now these spheres are subtracting from the other spheres that are above it on the list on the left. So now let's reposition this sphere to around where we want the indent to be, and we can smoothen out that negative by bringing up the goopness slider.
Feel free to adjust the sphere and move it around and scale it down to around something that you're satisfied with.
So now our cherries are complete. Moving on to the stems, we're going to bring in our curve tool again.
I'll just be naming this cherry stem.
Same protocol, delete the second point.
Move the camera to the front so we can adjust and see these curve points better.
Mirror it, and then move that point around to the base of where the indent is. We'll scale down the points to around the size of the stem that we want.
And reposition the point to make sure it's at the center of where the indent is.
And then by pressing Command or Control D again, you're going to keep duplicating these points and just kind of draw out the shape of the stem that you want. And I'm going to just keep duplicating it until they meet at a point in the middle, like this.
And by grabbing all these curve points, I can adjust the size altogether. I think I'm going to scale it down to something like this.
And now for the top of our cherry stem, we're gonna drop in another cylinder, rotate it, scale it down to the size that you like,
and reposition it to make sure it's touching the tip of our cherry stem.
And then round it out with the roundness slider. So again, to make these shapes blend together, I'm gonna just bring up the goopness slider, and now we have the stem of our cherry. So for materials and lighting, it's the same thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply those the same way I did with the bunny. And now we have it. We've made our very own bunny and cherry. So now I'm gonna move on to the next part of the video, which is just speed builds of the rest of the icons. So feel free to slow down the video and just follow along if you wanna make those too. So now that you have PNG downloads of all of your icons, let's go ahead and apply them onto your Mac folders.
Open up the image that you want to apply, press Command C on your keyboard to copy it, and then go into the folder or the icon of whatever you want to change. Right-click it, click on Get Info. You'll get this little pop-up, and on the top left corner, you want to click on the little icon image, and then simply press Command-V to paste that icon in. Now you'll see that it's changed. So the same goes for the rest of the images. Just simply open up the image you want to apply, press Command-C, copy, and then Get Info, paste it in, and it's that simple. So have fun creating your Mac icons, and we can't wait to see what you create with Womp.